I'm gonna mute
Hi,
for a sec.
Phyllis. We have a full house
Hello.
of
Hi.
Starfire people.
Hello.
Amazing.
And really, really just great to have you on. I think just really appreciate you making the time. I know we've got people from different time zones here. We've got someone from Australia. We've got a lot of people in Central Time Zone, Mountain, and Hawaii. So we have a pretty good mix. Uh, is everyone feeling like they are in a good place? I know that Tamara has a hard stop, and so I just want to make sure that we try to make great use of our time. And of course, if anybody has any questions, please or comments that they want to make before we begin. Um, does anybody have anything?
All good.
Is everybody ready to go? Ready to rock?
Yep. Let's
Let's do
Yep.
it.
rock.
Okay, so as I always say, just as a few mentions, if you want to go off camera, which many of us do just to get comfortable and be immersive in the process so you don't have any external visual distractions, highly suggest that. Secondary to that, I always bring up the diagram with the sacred geometries around the body simply because it is a good reminder to utilize this while we are going through the process of co-session simply because it provides a way for us to regulate and manage the energies as we are experiencing them. When we are bonding and linking multiple energy bodies and fields, the I guess you could say the intensity of the energy is very palpable, and some of us react to it different. Each and everybody is sensitive and reacts to it differently. It's a good idea to have the idea of the sacred geometry around your body as a way to create an energetic structure to manage, um, the energy so that you don't get overwhelmed. And even if you're not a person that can visualize, even just mentally setting the intention to either have the octahedron or if you feel, that's why I kind of show this moving from left to right or from top to bottom, just, either you feel like staying in an octahedron or moving to intersecting the two counter-opposing tetrahedrons or pyramids into the Merkaba. Or you could flip between the two. You could rotate. I mean, it's up to you. This is all, there are no rules. There is no exact formula or recipe for any of this. All of it is open to exploration and experimentation, and um, you may find that you trend towards or follow into a specific geometry, and it doesn't have to be this. This is just a suggestion. You could use other geometries if you want to as well, but I find these to be very helpful. Let's see, anything else I need to explain? In the past, as I've explained, and I always explain again, when I do this or this is done, this co-session occurs or happens because we're able to take the participative energy fields of everyone in the call and the technical term in networking technologies, link aggregation, which is in theory a way to bond different circuits logically and to make a bigger one. And so that is what we're doing as everyone is part of the call. So if you feel or see or sense anything during the call, please do not hesitate to speak up because we are all providing different perspectives of the experience. And in this process, some people are more clairvoyant, some people are more clairaudient, some more clairsentient, but it creates the full picture of what we're receiving and experiencing altogether. So with that being said, what else is coming in? Did we lose someone? Hold on. I'm just trying to see. Did we lose someone?
I think Tamara might have dropped off and came back.
Oh, okay. She's coming back on. No worries. And so also just wanted to mention that in our last general co-session call, generally Tamara's been the one to drive these calls, but we decided to flip it around and have Tashiko drive the call. And what we were finding was that Tamara was doing energy work on different people during the call. So we anticipate something similar. Of course, you never know exactly, but just wanted to mention that Tashiko Temple will be the driver for tonight's call.
She's a very good driver.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
is.
So
absolutely. Holy
with
crap. Yep.
okay, you guys, without much more ado, I will go ahead and start the process of taking us and journeying us into the Akashic field. So basically start to bring your awareness around your body, your physical body. And in doing so, we're going to connect to the breath so that we take in a deep breath through the nose and let that out as naturally and as comfortably as you feel in this moment. We're going to begin to take our mental awareness to the field around us, defining the boundaries or points of presence as your front, back, left, and right sides of you. And as you start to bring awareness to these areas, you're going to start to feel the boundaries of your field as your foundational frequency activates. As this is occurring, this aligns the physical body with the astral, the mental, the emotional, and the etheric. As those align and calibrate, once you feel these, you've established these points of presence, we're going to take our attention above about 5 or 6 feet so that we can start to see, sense, feel, imagine, or visualize detecting the light of source. In the beginning, this source light will feel like a dispersion of light particles. But as you continue to bring your attention and focus to this light, the light will start to collect and group into pools, which will then concentrate like spotlights randomly moving about the sky until these spotlights all converge into one. So with this focus and through the power of source, we're going to begin to travel with the source light downward through the sun, soul star, crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral, root, legs, feet, down through the earth star, and down into the central and crystalline core of the planet, so that we may anchor, center, balance here in the heart of Gaia, Mother Earth, setting the intention to clear and transmute all low-level frequencies, negative energies across all time, dimension, space, and realities as we fully and completely release any and all density into the planet. With that release, you can then alight back up through the earth star, feet, legs, root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, crown, all the way up into the central sun, pushing past into the unity consciousness field, feeling our pinpoint connection to source. Feeling the extreme opposites of this energy stream, understanding we've created a chakra circuit pathway that allows the light, the energy, and our consciousness to flow freely and clearly unobstructed. No longer bound by the physical as we feel our connection to source. We will then travel this energy back through the divine light path, back through the sun, soul star, crown, third eye, throat, arriving and homing and centering into our heart space. We expand our hearts into the universe, allowing our divine column and pillars of light to expand along with it. In this heart expansion, we are now connected and connecting to the galactic center so we may sense the void, feel the void, expand into the void to ultimately become the void. No boundaries exist, and we are one in this unified field of consciousness. From this point, I call upon the cosmic table of light, and I request source light records for all present and anyone else who may be listening to this co-session at a later date. So I request source light records for myself, Vera Valencia Takakura, Ellen Warren, Tamara Pasick, Tashiko Temple, Denise Scott, Carla Brown, Lauren Mihawk, Mary Willett, Monique Casper, Hazel Belmer, Nicolette Aguinaldo, and Phyllis Douglass. As I start pulling all these energetic streams, I turn my palm over from the cosmic table of light and I open the records high and wide until they become the light of the sky and expand into the beyond. Setting the intention that all healings, clearing, support, guidance, assistance, information streams, downloads, frequencies, vibrations of the highest order and magnitude come forth for myself and everyone present. There is a lot of energy moving.
There's
Honoring
so
and
much going on. This is
honoring and acknowledging and requesting the presence of the ascended masters, teachers, loved ones, star families, galactic beings, archangels, ancestors, record keepers, guides, and beings of light. Healing dragons. And with this calling, the records are now open. Field access is now granted. All frequencies are active across all spectrums. All records, all light records are online.
Can I just ask, did everyone activate Starfire prior to the
Oh,
call?
we could do that now. I apologize if we didn't. I forgot. You're right. If we want to activate Starfire, we activate the 7 frequencies of origin. And now activating the 8th frequency of Starfire. Thanks for the reminder, Tamara. I totally forgot.
Yeah, sure thing.
And so as I move through this process, firstly, there was a couple of beautiful visuals that came through as the void was opening. It was as though my silhouette, my being, was being split in half and then continuously split like layers of an onion. And then the darkness of the internal part of the nothingness of the void of my body connected to the void of the nothingness of the universe. And it was like this ink just spilled out, and that unity consciousness was capable, was connected, was integrated at that moment. So that was a really beautiful entering the void today. But as we stand here, I have just had like huge, again, that atoms kind of geometry just spinning around, and heaps of gold code coming in, filing in straight through my crown, coming into my throat, coming into my heart, into my hands, dancing around my neck and my shoulders, and just feeling almost like this dark rosy type of gold color that was sort of feeling like that it was in the lower body or around the lower sphere of where we're standing. But as we turn our eyes, our gaze higher, there's a lot of gold white light streaming down from right here.
So, Tashiko, I saw that too, and it's coming in like a little filament, almost like just a very fine ray, as you said, just through our crown, all the way through our body. But it's turning. It's like a little drop of water. When it hits, it's like it's turning on the light switches all the way down. It's we're receiving again. This is a beautiful thing. We're receiving, and they're just like lighting us up, boom, 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 one at a time.
And so my hands have been dancing this entire time, like from the moment before we even started the call. They are just, absolutely dancing codes. I do really feel that we're in almost like a netted egg. So it's like very encapsulated space. It doesn't feel really expansive like we have launched into in the previous call. This feels very insular and like there's more to integrate here, just as these very fine, as I see them, little codes, little wisps of white lines with gold halos that come tumbling down. So just notice where things are landing in your own body. If you've got little twitches happening, any little pulses, any little movements of energy, anything that's kind of expanding, lifting, opening, or anything that's tense and dropping down. I'm also getting a tone of green coming through now as well. So again, feeling encapsulated in this egg, this netted weave. The gold is moving around and through this space, but there's also this new green light, this very yummy apple green coming through. Strong rays from above. And I'm feeling very much the sensation as it touches the face. There's an awakening almost around the brows and the top of the cheekbones, and almost like the light hits here in a particularly different way.
I definitely felt something like you said, right around the brow area, like an expansion, kind of like a womb.
Oh, it's
A
all.
womb.
My whole head is like feels like it's like huge. Like my skull is like quadrupled in size. And I'm
That's
bobbing
awesome.
my head like I'm one of those bobbleheads.
So one of the things that I saw, Tashiko, when you were saying like this deep pink, is I saw a red. It's almost like a semicircle, kind of like an egg that we're standing against. And there are gold codes, basically like written on them. And as we stand with our backs to this, it is literally going into us, coming into the back of us, and it's altering our DNA. It's like tweaking our DNA just a little bit, depending upon what it is you need or what it is that what stage of change you're at. So those golden codes are being absorbed by us right now. A little bit different for everyone.
And beautiful, as you said, tweak. I really had like a strong reaction to that word. It was like, ooh. And but then I could begin to slow down. Like I'm really noticing how frantic my breathing and everything is, and then feeling like, oh, okay, we can kind of just settle into this. Just take a nice deep breath here and really feel the expansiveness of the different lines of code. It's almost as though I'm seeing harp strings in front of me, and my hands are playing this harp. This each, as you said, tweak. It's like it's the pluck of the string and the resonance of that, and the way it vibrates out into the field, into the being.
Tashiko, I was just gonna say, the one thing I'm seeing is like little golden, almost like ticks, kind of like if you would look at a like a record. You know how a record player plays the record, it's like the needle hits the little, you know, I don't know what the word is, but on a record, and seeing those little like ticks kind of going in a spiral and going up.
Beautiful.
And it's like you can almost hear it. Maybe that's your heart music that I'm seeing.
Yeah. Okay, so I also just received quite a cool blue, but very tall, very feels very solidifying kind of feeling, tall blue glow of light coming down. And as this comes down, it feels like it's very much towards the back of my head. So coming down the back of the spine and almost like leaning against a tall pillar of blue. And as I sort of begin to move upwards, I can feel that we are lifting now. The netted egg shape, we're lifting up through it, and the netting is kind of parting at the top here so that we can come out into this very open starfield darkness. And just noticing quite a lot of different vibration, almost as the movement upwards, it really shifts through different layers of vibration through the lower part of my body. Like I'm really noticing different tide lines almost as I'm moving through. And as I'm standing now in this darkened space, seeing and sensing there's a lot of star field and openness, a lot of distance. There's almost some sigils in a very dark purple, like a very ultraviolet, almost like an invisible purple being coded down in front of me. These feel really, really wide. Like as compared to the gold filaments before, these feel like a really, like a spray can almost of the width of these lines. Really large.
I see almost a horizon of that ultraviolet
Ooh.
all the way across.
So it's going horizontally for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I've been working with ultraviolet frequency.
Well, it's definitely coming in.
Yeah, it's always interesting validation for me.
Okay, so as it's been tumbling down like big zigzag, quite circuitry-like lines coming down vertically for me, and now as they reach this horizontal plane, I'm beginning to feel almost like a platform forming. So like from that horizontal line, it's like the circuitry now bends and becomes this horizontal plane, and it's expanding outwards. Then there's a doorway being opened inside that wall from the vertical to the horizontal plane. There's now a doorway opening. And there's a great amount of like wind movement, light streams coming through this as this doorway opens. And it's so interesting because it's almost like it's transparent. It's like it's barely visible.
You're saying the wind?
Yeah, like the movement of the energy coming through it, it's like so wispy that it's practically invisible, but I'm seeing this great movement of energy. And so if we're feeling too, is everybody gathering with me, if we're all feeling to come through to this gateway, this doorway that has opened. It's just very rectangular, like a very regular door at the moment, as I move towards this vertical axes meeting the horizontal axes. Ooh, and I'm being told that this is an elevator. So it's like we're going to step in and we're going to move wherever
I
we're
felt like
going
the
to move.
energy changed when we moved towards it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so everybody climb into this wonderful elevator. There's a lot of circuitry stuff going on in here. So I feel like we're in, classic elevator, cube space, quite reflective, but it's almost like I'm seeing these crazy neon circuitry just zipping around the four faces of this space. So, ooh, I just got the sensation that someone was running to catch the elevator, like, oh, wait for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So is everybody in? Because there was one running, last.
That's me. Sorry.
You got a little
I keep
distracted.
getting pulled. I keep getting pulled up into this like Stargate that's up above everyone and everything, and there's these large beings that are hovering over the Stargate, looking in at this encapsulated zone, energy zone. And this Stargate is like maybe, these beings are big. There's 4 of them, and I'm kind of leaning over the side and looking at them, and then looking down at everyone. But then I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be there, and so I keep going back and forth. And I'm just like, okay, maybe this is my first ride on a closed session. So that's why I keep going back and forth. But I'm like, wait, I want in the elevator.
We're just going to land
get
up at the
distracted.
Stargate up there anyway.
You keep up and take notes, Nicolette.
Maybe she has a shortcut.
I just gotta leave breadcrumbs, astral breadcrumbs.
There you go.
All right,
I'm
keep
feeling
us
this is
going.
like a Wonkavator.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to go
Yeah.
any which way. And in fact, I feel like there's some really diagonal slants to this as well. Like almost like the elevator is going to flatten into a singular line and then shoot to wherever. So
I see
feel
it.
feel into yourself as this process happens, as the elevator shaft of the thing's going to collapse on itself into a straight, I hate a straight line.
Yeah, I feel it in my teeth.
Oh, cara, agora deixa a babaca ir embora.
So I'm seeing like so much like electric kind of sky blue code stars. It's almost like that warp speed. It's just passing past my third eye. It's code, but it's not. But it's flashes of light. It's moving so quickly.
Like hyperspace.
Yes.
As we were approaching the elevator, everyone was receiving a different piece of sacred geometry that was actually just floating above your crown and soul star. So everybody got something a little bit different, and I'll explain it. But I think maybe that is part of what you were seeing, all that energy that was moving there, Tashiko. I'm not sure, but that was something that we needed before we got on this elevator and then went to where we're going.
Oh, love
And
that. More
share that
geometry.
after. Yeah, it's different for everybody.
So I felt the elevator come to a stop, and it was almost like a black concentric ripple, just like as it hit almost like this surface, and it slowed it right down. And now the surface is just rippling like concentric ripples. In here, so I am seeing a being now as these doors open, or the shift happens as from inside to outside this space. There is quite a grid-like platforms that they're standing on, and very, very large. I will often use the term grey just for that somewhat typical alien shape. So large head, large eyes, not a grey though, much taller. And I'm feeling that they're, sorry?
An Eben? It's
Oh, wow.
You feel like it's an even? I was thinking that, but I
feeling
wasn't.
that there is some long robes happening to this as well. It's very it's almost heavy around the neck and very long, very, very long. Gesturing us forward, very long, slender fingers. Quite bulbous ends to the fingers.
I feel like I'm turning into one. I don't know this.
Oh my God, so do
but
I.
like as you describe it, like
Yeah.
I feel
Carlos,
I could feel the robe just getting longer and heavier.
yes.
same thing here. I felt my arms getting longer and my fingers getting longer. So we got to
And
find
And
out
I
what
was
these
doing
guys
the
are.
same thing, like grabbing hold of my fingers as though I was stretching them out.
That's so crazy. I couldn't explain that feeling of elongation until y'all had said that, but that's what I was feeling, that like being stretched and stretched and stretched. That's really interesting.
So just feel into where in your body right now you feel adjusted. And I'm definitely feeling some component, like I feel like I have an enormous head, and the back of my head
Yes,
is
definitely my
activated.
head.
Yeah.
It's our
So
bobblehead.
as well as like my fingertips, I'm definitely feeling those. And through that, I also feel streams of circuitry coming through, but it's passing through like either side of the spine. So it's almost like it's coming through the whole cavity of the body shape, and it's fine circuitry like weaving itself almost like down the lapels of the jacket, if that makes sense. It's very much on either side. It's not centralized. And there's little flicks of energy that come off these lines. It's almost like two waterfalls of code that are moving through. And I just keep tracing that shape sort of down the lapel space of my body.
Is anybody else seeing these codes coming down your arms and out your fingers and your fingertips?
Oh my
I
gosh,
feel
my arms are
I can feel
totally lit
it.
up.
And
Yeah,
my fingertips are
absolutely.
glowing.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what's happening right now. And we need to remember this and work with this because it is there, it's implanted in us, and we can then deliver it to other people.
Oh, thank you.
You mean
And
transmitted to?
what
Yeah.
And what just came
What
through
is it
was
exactly?
in the Starfire activation where there was the rainbow. Well, I saw a rainbow go from palm to palm. I saw this just now with all of that code coming through in the glowing hands. I saw a rainbow of pure white light go across from palm to palm. And I feel like we're almost in a ship space. Like it feels a little bit electronic. It feels very metallic almost, but it's almost like it's slightly invisible. Like there's a cloaking to it and it's kind of visible, kind of not visible. It's only coming through in flashes a little bit.
Yeah, there are points when I feel like I'm disappearing, like
Yeah,
just in and out.
like there's like a cloaking over the whole thing. Like you're sort of here, sort of not. The floor's there, disappears. I can see into the scene of inside this ship space and almost like windows that would then look out of that, but then it kind of just disappears again. So it's
Does
very
anyone feel like the
cloaky.
space? Yeah, does anyone feel like the space is familiar? Does it feel or appear? I see us in here and we've been in here before.
I've been in ships before, but this particular one doesn't feel like one I've visited. I'm seeing a lot of like a very strong line of electric sort of sky blue circuitry coming through again, coming down on the right-hand side, going across horizontally, down again, across horizontally over towards the left-hand side, like a very strong bolt of this. And little vein lines of that shift off to these little squares, and it's illuminating all of these what almost feels like different buttons. It's almost like a panel is coming to view.
I don't know why, but I just keep getting the word echo like over and over again. And at one point I felt like I heard like a bell, but it felt like it was like a swinging bell, like an echo. But it's come up a bunch of times. So I don't know if anyone else is feeling like it's a voluminous, like a round echoey space or voluminous. Like my hands are feeling on fire and really big right now. So
I feel like this space is expanding, Mary, definitely.
Or I think in somewhat that cloaking, it's almost like you feel like you're in a space, but then it disappears and you're just in space. So there's like this expansion of like, oh, I feel like I'm just floating here. Oh, wait, no, I am in a room. Oh, wait, no, I'm out in space. Like it kind of just keeps shifting gears between these two different realities. Like, yeah, it's shifting a lot.
Kind of like how they talk about atoms, how atoms do that. They blink in and out of existence, right?
Yes.
I'm feeling something in my sacral chakra.
I felt something there too. That's weird.
It's like front and back a big pang.
Yeah. Does it feel like it's also giving off ripple-like vibes? Like undulating concentric circles kind of.
Yes.
And that's really interesting, just to circle back to when the elevator stopped. That's the shape that it created there as well, as like this huge echoing ripple, and then to bring in echo as well. And again, the same thing. There is a very almost repetitive pattern that's happening here of echoing ripples.
Well, so I'm not really hearing anything, but I'm having vibrations and circular formations going from one ear to the next ear to the next ear to the next ear, like bouncing between both ears. And it's like,
I was going to say, how many ears do you have?
no, no, no. Like it's like going back, like it will be on one ear, wah, 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 then bounce the other one, wah, 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 and then
Yes,
bounce the
yes.
other one.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
binaural thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
You are not in a ship, you are in an organic construct that has been created specifically for this purpose by Metatron. I am presently
Awesome.
beyond the 12th dimension, and you are within this organic space, receiving the sacred geometric codes that Phyllis is sending through her body.
Thank you.
Wow.
Amazing.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I have been
you.
sitting
So that
here.
explains it all.
Yeah, well, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes coding right into my own hands and arms. So there's something big coming in. So thank you,
It
Phyllis.
is like a
Yeah.
matrix.
It's complicated.
I feel like we're still standing on, like, once again, the space kind of just keeps moving in and out of vision, but it's like there is the grid-like floor that you can see to stand on. But I think that that's only to satisfy our human mind for a moment,
Yeah.
to be like, it's okay, we're standing on something.
Mhm.
Well, I keep feeling like I have a cord attached to my third eye, and it's like that's the only thing that's keeping me like with the group. Like
Tethered.
there's, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll hang on to you, Mary.
Everybody feel like they're kind of
That's Carla.
floating away a little bit separately, like not super contained?
Yes, very
Yes.
much.
That
I
whole
also saw a
expanding
lot of
feeling.
tiny, almost like bioluminescence. I'm seeing a lot in blue coming through. So it was almost like a dusting of these bioluminescent particles that came down over the body. And that was just as I think Ellen and Vera both said about the sacral point as well. So it's like these tiny glowing little orbs are coming in to filter into the system. And it feels really beautiful, like very light and soft and dusted.
Do you feel the energy coming in through your navel?
Yes.
This is the umbilicus. And this is affecting both spiritual DNA and physical DNA and genetic structures.
Beautiful.
Yes.
The
And so, as
expansion
you
that
said,
you are feeling in your head is what we call the halo. It is the activation and connection between all points of the halo, which is the pineal gland. In the back of the skull is the mouth of God, the third eye, the amygdala at each temple, the crown portal.
Wow.
Very cool.
and just as I moved my awareness inside my head just then, I was seeing like quite Egyptian temple, like seeing corridors of sandstone and hieroglyphs and different chambers and different movement. So that's a very lit space as opposed to a lot of the darkness that is the spaceness that is around me right now. And seeing that umbilical cord feeling, also very circuitry like, very coded, very running different lines of energy, and then expanding like a placenta into this like flattened orb space inside the body. And particles beginning to kind of dissolve off. Once that they've entered into the sphere of your being, they begin to flutter and then dance to wherever they're needed, almost like they exit that one initial shape. Ooh, and a whole pile of new vibrational ripples just came towards
Ooh, I
feeling.
think
Sorry?
I feel that.
Yeah. It was almost just like a gong just got hit in front of me and it was like boom.
Yeah.
Big
I
feelings of ripples.
I feel it in my hips and my teeth and the back of my head.
Oh my God, the back of my head is like, oh, there's so much coming in right now.
For me, the back of my head feels like two rectangles, almost like the sizes of my hands, but expanding, almost like two doorways in the back of my head, not just a singular space.
Feels like somebody's pulling it open on either side.
And with so much frantic energy, almost like the energy is moving so quickly, so pulsing so quickly. My mind just went to this very soft white floating filament, almost like it's dancing in water, slowed right down, just coming down right in front of the third eye, dancing around right in front of the throat, tumbling, turning, coiling, like smoke, like incense smoke caught in the air. And there's this very calm, relaxing feeling as this enters into the sphere. Ooh, that feels nice.
I see something in front of me that's changing colors.
Beautiful. Yeah, as you said, changing colors, mine just appeared as white smoke, like incense smoke for me right then. And then as it shifted, it's almost like hologramic, like the right
Yes.
slant of light just made it go.
Yes.
Ooh, and then my focus can change incredibly to seeing these particles coming from a very centralized space, but as they expand out, the particles get further and further away from each other, but they almost become like a dotted grid looking in, like a half-tone image. If anyone understands what that means from graphic design stuff. And it's expanding out beyond the side of my left, my face to the left. Ooh, very, very expansive, almost like this swirling whiteness is drinking me into the center of it. Yeah, I know.
Do you feel like if you pulled like one of the strings, it just kind of like opens up and it bends with you?
Oh, it feels very much smoke-like, like it's constantly kind of waving very slowly, like it's underwater. There's that very slowed feeling happening for me.
I'm being told we need to take a couple of deep breaths in and out through our nose to help integrate this a little bit easier, just kind of bring it in a little bit more flow. So if you guys can sometime whilst we carry on with the call, just take a couple of breaths and just visualize that relaxing your body so that you can accept it more easily.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tamara.
that's beautiful. And it feels like I'm dusted in this beautiful, soft powder now. It's like all the particles are just dancing around. I'm very much noticing my head, my face, my throat, my shoulders, but I feel it passing all the way through to behind me. It's like it's enveloping me now in layers of folded white light, which is a very interesting, like the skirt of a jellyfish. It's very dancing on itself.
We are winding down the transmission.
How will this transmission help us in our daily 3D lives and in the future?
Spiritual elevation. Your spiritual evolution, conscious elevation.
Okay, that makes sense. Why I feel like I'm separating from my body and then coming back and separating and coming back. Okay, thank you.
It's
I agree,
connecting the
Nicolette.
spiritual DNA with the physical DNA. We are done.
And as I feel like I've come to the center of it, yeah, it's almost like I'm seeing concentric ripples around the outside, and I moved into what was like Saturn, the planet part of the center of those orbs, and coming centralized.
I mean, from the ring.
Beautiful.
When
Yeah, through the
Phyllis said
ring.
when Phyllis said we are done, my whole body just like did like a reactive shock. Like I was like detached or
Big
something.
pulse.
It was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big pulse. Absolutely.
Yep.
I didn't get the pulse, but I was like, oh, I have a body in here.
And head is becoming normal again.
What was the question?
No, it wasn't
was
a
just-
question. Sorry.
My head is
I think
feeling
Lauren-
normal again.
Yeah, Lauren was saying that it seemed like the body parts were normalizing again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't feel like blow up dolls, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the layers are I feel like the layers are converging.
Mm-hmm. And then, as you just said, converging, I was seeing like tide lines when you've got two sort of separate tide lines coming in together, and there's this weaving of light lines becoming a new intersecting grid coming into the center. Very centralized, very centered and still, and aware of the buzziness on the outside, but the center is just pure, like just beautifully pure and still. Very tall. Oh. And so let us return to our elevator that we came up in. Ooh.
I'm getting the sense of neon lights for some reason. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I was seeing neon circuitry around the elevator when we first got in.
Okay.
And then feeling the elevator fold from that cube space into a flat line.
My head, I can feel it on
Felt
the
that
top
right
of
in
my
my
head.
chest.
Sinking downwards slowly. Nice and slowly with us, because we're all a little bit like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah. This is very out there. I feel like we're dropping really fast, even though we're going slow. But it's just kind of like, whew, this is different energy than we've got before.
And just keep returning to that stillness of the center with all of the crazy particles. It's almost like the dust on the outside is moving like static, but the center of your line is very calm and very still. Just stay in that space. And then I just see us standing in a circle. All of our heart lights are on, and there is incredible shafts of light coming through the heart. So not even directly across like a horizontal line, but a directional line from almost behind the back of your feet through the heart space and up out in front. And it's creating almost a teepee of lines of light, of connection. And we're all just held here for a moment in this beautiful teepee space of loving and gratitude. And so feeling the elevator coming to land, if you haven't already, feeling those, the elevator shape recreate itself into a cube, opening up So we can step back out onto this. I'm seeing a blue gridded platform that we're standing on. But I can feel now, it's almost like there's a greater awareness of my body self, but also the noises around me. So it's really having shifted from very high frequency back into a more lower, acceptable frequency to our understanding, to our ears, to our sensations. Ooh.
Very Tron.
Yes.
When we were finishing the heart TP in the elevator, I heard kind of like a tinkling, like a Tinkerbell kind of
sparkle.
You know, like like a fairy sparkle noise kind of.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so just returning to that beautiful center line, just feeling how integrated and calm this pure beam of light, of white light entering through your system is. And my hand's just gone off crazy, just drawing lots of code in front of my face.
Does it feel like we've landed back down?
Yes, we've definitely come from higher frequencies back into normal frequencies.
Tamara, was there anything on your side?
There was a lot. I was receiving a lot personally, but then I was using whatever I got to share with everybody else. So I was just sending a note in the chat room. I've got a lot of stuff to share with everybody individually. I think what they want, those symbols that we were given at the beginning, they want us to work with that to integrate those changes in our DNA. So I will get that to everybody. And it was different for everybody. It was pretty interesting. This was again a huge gift tonight, but even from a higher dimension, I think, than we've received before. So it's not a small DNA. I feel like it's a big DNA change.
Gotcha. I know you have to drop off. But yeah, when I close, your energy should follow.
Yeah. I just want to ask Phyllis, is there anything else that you're understanding or receiving that you can share?
No, right now I'm still like in particles.
I'm still particulated.
I'm still particulated. Yeah. They're still working with me, so.
Interesting.
Yeah,
of course, if there's still work to be done, we don't want to interrupt that if there's still something going on. And I know Tamara.
I'll just stay in this space. They'll just keep me in this space, even if you come down, so it's fine.
That's what I was just going to say. Everybody's still receiving somewhat. And even if we come back down, you're still going to carry on. It wasn't like a one and done. It's like a carrying on.
Yeah.
At least I'm here in 24 hours. So.
Okay.
And I'm seeing lots of like toroidal field, like energy coming in and then spiraling out in front of, say, for example, your head and your face, and then spiraling in the back of your head and then back down. It's almost like through the levels of your being is like the elevator down your spine, and then these toroidal, so there'll be lots of filtering in, lots and lots. Ooh, beautiful. But yeah, guide us home, Vera, if you want to.
Sure. Is everybody feeling like they're ready?
Yes.
I'm still up there, but I'll come down.
I was gonna say, I think I missed the elevator.
Okay, if we're feeling like we can wrap up, we're just gonna start to take our awareness back and pull it within, understanding that we have sort of a continuation of the energies still operating in the background. Think of it as a computer multitasking with a couple windows open. And but we know it's there, but we're just bringing our awareness and presence back to our physical body, to our mental space. As we start to do that, I'm going to call upon Cosmic Table of Light and ask for source light records for each and every person in session. For myself, Vera, Valencia Takakura, Denise Scott, Helen Warren, Lauren Mioch, Monique Casper, Mary Willett, Nicolette Aguinaldo, Tashiko Temple, Carla Brown, Phyllis Anne Douglass, also Tamara Pasick, and I know Johanna Smith fell off the call and she said she would just catch up with us later, and Hazel Belmer, and also anybody listening to this call at a later date. Source light records are being retrieved back into the center in the palm of my hand, pulling all the energies back so that I may, as I start to move to close the records, I turn my palm back over to the Cosmic Table of Light and I continue to move to close the records, giving gratitude for all the healings, clearing, support, guidance, assistance, information streams, downloads, frequencies, vibrations of the highest order and magnitude that have come forth from myself and all those participating in session. Giving gratitude for and honoring and acknowledging the presence of the Ascended Masters, teachers, loved ones, star families, galactic beings, archangels, ancestors, record keepers, guides, beings of light, dragons, add some in present. As the records continue to close and we exit field access from the Akasha, we're also setting the intention that any cords, connections, bindings, contracts, portals, vortexes, energies intentionally or unintentionally, or consciously and unconsciously created, be fully and completely released as we all detach one by one from the field. We're plucking ourselves out of there so that we may start the journey back through the sun, soul star, crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral, root, legs, feet, to the earth star, then down into the central and crystalline core of the planet as we anchor, center, and balance here with Mother Earth in the heart of Gaia, grounding back in the energy. Just letting out a little sigh to come to feel that as we alight back up through the earth star, feet, legs, root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, crown, all the way up into the central sun, pushing past into the unity consciousness field, pushing in farther into a pinpoint connection to source, resetting the chakra circuit pathway so that we may once again return back through the sun, soul star, crown, third eye, throat, to home and center into our heart space. We expand our hearts into the universe, putting our palms up on our laps to upload gratitude in our frequency into the universal collective, sending that even exchange of energy. And as that is complete, this allows us to travel down back into Mother Earth's sacred space, setting the intention to process and integrate all that has been transmitted and all that has been received, allowing us to continue in the flow state, knowing that we are one with the all and the all is one with us, allowing us to find our center point back into our home base so that we are anchored back into this 3D physicality, back into this earth plane. Aliyashva, so it is, and it is so. We are back. We are back. We are back. Imagine a beam of light above your head, ray tracing on the either side of you to create the triangle. And as you reach what level, we're going to create that final seal. So we're back into Mother Earth's blueprint. And we're human again.
Oh my God.
Human, but you know what I'm saying. We're always human, but just feeling ourselves back in body.
Wow,
And
that
it's interesting that
was
we said about particulating, because it's almost like I feel this dancing mist of particles still just like just lovely swirling. It's beautiful.
well,
That's pretty cool. I know this was
honestly, this was the strongest ever energy. It was unreal. Yeah.
Mm, beautiful.
Wow. I didn't even hear you, Tashiko. I was like, I don't
You're
know
out.
where I was. I was out there. I lost
Anybody
you,
else have
girl.
any significant shares from that experience?
Yeah, so I had a really interesting thing, and I just feel like I can't vocalize sometimes. But when Tashika was like talking about the egg and everything, I was having this like my body was going kind of like a baby in an embryo, like how you like rotate in liquid. That was how I was feeling, was this like slow motion of like rotating like like a baby in an embryo, which
Wow.
was like really interesting. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, it was really, really cool. But
I kept seeing these owl eyes, like barn owl, like dark eyes almost. Did you see those too, Lauren?
I did, along with the
uh,
dragon, and then the praying mantis
Nice.
had popped in. Go on, Denise.
No, that was it. I
No,
mean,
absolutely. Share it. I mean, that's
they just kept seeing these beautiful dark eyes that were kind of, that's it.
mm,
I would like to thank for the confirmation of everything. Like you see it and then it's gone. See it, then I'm like, okay, Lauren, you've got to concentrate or something because you're losing losing focus nonstop. Then when Tashiko said it comes in, comes out, I'm like, okay, then this is interesting.
But it
So
was
thank you for
almost
that.
like black liquid, and
Yes.
it was like you'd see something on the reflection of it, and then it would shift form again, or another ripple would move, and it would be like, wait, it's not there anymore, and then it would like appear, and then like, yeah, it was very liquid morphing today, which is really strange because the other spaces it was like I am standing in a space and I am looking around at all of this stuff, and this time it was just like the whole time.
Amorphous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. Really different feelings as well, sensations, very much the back of the head. That was
Oh,
everybody
big
was
time.
kind of saying, yeah.
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 And also like in my jawline right here, and at one point I literally could feel my face morphing and
Yes.
just being
Yeah.
like going into something else. And I was like, okay, who am I? Like who's here? Who's in me? Like it was crazy.
Yeah, I was definitely getting that money too, like the cheeks, like this area right here, just kind
Right
of.
here.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was melting. Yeah.
Mhm.
I still feel
Crazy.
shaky. Melting.
So
where's that from?
our last co-session call, I was like super blipping in and out. I was like paralyzed. This one was a total different energy. This was so beautiful. And I'm supposed to go to sleep after this, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
You know, and I'm wondering because Phyllis, this is the first time you're on a call with this co-session. So, and I went to your Vera, myself, and Tamara and Shelby all came to your retreat, and I'm just wondering if it was like seriously some of your energy I was feeling because it was the strongest I felt it.
It was.
So, yeah, okay. 'Cause
I
I was
felt her when
like,
she came
wow.
in. When she came on the call, I was looking down, but I felt this energy the moment Phyllis came on the call. And then I looked up to see that she had just joined. So I was like, there was definitely a shift of the energy change for sure
Yeah,
when
I
she
felt
joined.
that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even with you. I think when Tashiko, right, was talking. I wasn't even there. I just immediately went out through
Yeah.
through the aperture of the 12th dimension. I was gone, and Metatron was there, and it was just the work that then I was doing was transmitting downwards, and you guys receiving that because I could tell because I was feeling it through my head, all the sinus cavities, my cheek, throat, and then the energy was going down, and then it was the umbilical stuff. And I just saw streams of, just like in the Matrix, when you see just but streams of geometric coding and so forth that was coming together in shapes, and I was doing stuff, and then it was streaming through me, and it was streaming down through you. And then the sense that I got was in Starfire, the level 4 is the creation of the luminous sphere. And I think that's what was created, was more like an egg-shaped, it was an organic egg-shaped form that was surrounding everybody, and you're receiving through the umbilical, so it was like a gigantic womb.
Wow.
Sorts that
I knew it.
you were in. Kind of like a spaceship.
Confirmation.
And I never know what they're gonna do. It was just like, oh, we're gonna do this. We got all these people, and they all start fighting.
I'm glad for the confirmation on the ultraviolet frequency, though, because that's something I was getting prior to this call, and so it was interesting that everybody was picking that up, and I was like, oh wow, it's always really cool when I get people saying things and I've never talked about it before, so it's pretty cool.
Well, remember when you have Starfire, Vera, you have access to everything, all frequencies. You have the 7 frequencies of origin, which are the frequencies of creation. Okay. Everything has those frequencies. Then you have the combinations of the different combinations of those frequencies alchemically. But it opens you up to pretty much everything. Well, not pretty much. It opens you up. It's limitless. So you can receive anything that's going to be magnetized by your alchemical structure.
And then as our DNA changes with these different calls and these different integrations, our chemical structure is changing, whatnot. Is that not correct? And then therefore you have even more access.
Evolving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So be prepared that you're even more activated now, that you can go anywhere, any frequency you want.
And everybody has alchemical encoding, so everybody's going to be different within the structure that is being formed. Whatever it's meant to be for you. Yeah, not everybody's the same.
Well, thank you for being our
very powerful
filter system.
Yes.
It's almost like you were the filter at the top there, that it came all trickling through you and then down to us. So very grateful.
Still like licorice.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
so
Phyllis, I mean, wait, sorry, go ahead.
It's so interesting, the coding. Like I just kept doing this action of like the lapels as the coding was like waterfalling through. It was really, it was really beautiful, and then sparking off to wherever it needed to go to. So yeah, lots of confirmations in lots of pieces everybody said tonight. Yeah, beautiful. Go, Vera.
I was just going to say, no, obviously this is co-session group that we're in, maybe there's a possibility with the other Starfire members that aren't familiar with us doing this, something we could probably try and plan and do with, I guess, the rest of our Starfire members that are not necessarily familiar or aware of this type of coming together.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully, there was an efficiency to the way that this, the energies were distributed, I guess you could say, or transmitted. So it was very cool.
Very cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, hey, I know you guys are all in different time zones, and I'm always amazed when everybody comes on. I'm always humbled because, the reason why these work the way they do, and they are so just effective for everyone and beneficial, is because all of you come on and you commit yourself and you show up, and I'm always super, super thankful for everybody that gets on these calls, especially for our people who have the late time zones. But thank you again, everyone, for sharing your frequency and just elevating everyone all the way around.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you,
Thank
Vera.
you, you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Tashiko.
Have a good
Bye,
night. Thanks so much.
guys.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.